The moment someone walks away, most people make the same mistake. They chase. They explain. They beg to be understood. They replay old conversations, searching for the perfect words that might change someone's mind. But what if I told you that every step you take towards someone who has already chosen to leave takes you one step further away from yourself? The Stoics understood something that most people learn far too late. You cannot force someone to recognize your value. You cannot argue your way into someone's heart. And you cannot build a meaningful life by chasing people who have already decided to walk away. Marcus Aurelius never taught revenge. He never taught resentment. He taught something far more powerful. He taught self-mastery. Because the greatest victory is not making someone regret losing you. It's becoming someone who no longer needs their regret to feel complete. Think about the people you admire most. Do they spend their lives proving others wrong? Or do they quietly build a life so meaningful that the opinions of the past no longer matter? The answer is obvious. The strongest people don't chase closure. They create a future so fulfilling that yesterday slowly loses its power. So if someone left you, rejected you, underestimated you, or failed to see your worth, don't waste your energy trying to convince them. Instead, become the kind of person whose growth speaks louder than any explanation ever could. Because sometimes, the loudest message you'll ever send is the life you build after they leave. When someone leaves your life, your first instinct is often to run after them, to ask why, to explain yourself, to convince them they made a mistake. It feels natural. After all, our minds crave certainty. We want answers. We want closure. We want the pain to end. But here's the truth. Not every door is meant to be reopened. Some people are chapters, not the entire story. Imagine trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips away. People are often the same. The harder you chase, the further they drift. Epictetus taught that suffering begins the moment we try to control what was never ours to control. Another person's decision belongs to them. Your response belongs to you. That distinction changes everything. Many people believe chasing someone proves love. More often, it proves fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of starting over. Fear of believing you are enough without them. The Stoics challenged that fear. They believed your worth cannot be measured by who stays or who leaves. Your value existed before they arrived, and it remains after they're gone. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is nothing, not because you don't care, but because you care enough about yourself to stop forcing what no longer wants to stay. Imagine a diamond lying on the ground. Does it beg people to recognize its worth? Does it chase those who walk past it? Of course not. Its value exists whether people notice it or not. Now think about how many people forget this truth when they experience rejection. They send one more message, then another. They explain. They apologize. They promise to change. Not because they've done something wrong, but because they're terrified of being left behind. Every desperate attempt carries the same hidden message. Please decide my value for me. The Stoics warned against placing your self-worth in someone else's hands. Because once another person becomes the judge of your value, you surrender your freedom. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that the opinion of others should never become the foundation of his peace. Why? Because opinions change. Character doesn't. Someone may fail to recognize your worth today. That doesn't reduce your worth. It only reveals the limits of their perception. Real confidence never begs to be chosen. It quietly continues becoming better. When you stop trying to convince people to stay, something unexpected happens. You begin investing that same energy into yourself. And that investment always offers greater returns than chasing someone who has already turned away. Remember this. The people who truly appreciate your value rarely need to be persuaded to see it. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet even he experienced betrayal, criticism, disappointment. People questioned his leadership. Others misunderstood his intentions. Still, He never built his identity around their opinions. Instead, he built it around his principles. He wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Notice what he didn't say. He didn't say your happiness depends on who loves you, or who stays, or who approves of you. He said it depends on your thoughts, because every painful experience passes through the mind before it reaches the heart. If you constantly tell yourself, "They left because I wasn't enough," your suffering grows. But if you ask, "What can this experience teach me?" everything changes. The event remains the same. Only your perspective changes. And perspective is where freedom begins. Marcus Aurelius never encouraged people to chase those who rejected them. He encouraged them to become people of such strong character that rejection no longer defined them. Think of a tree. When autumn arrives, its leaves fall. The tree doesn't chase them. It doesn't beg them to return. It remains rooted. It survives the winter. And when spring comes, new leaves grow naturally. Life works the same way. Some people are meant for one season. Others remain for a lifetime. Your responsibility is not to force seasons to last forever. Your responsibility is to keep growing, regardless of who stays, and regardless of who leaves. Because the strongest people aren't remembered for how desperately they held on. They're remembered for how courageously they moved forward. Most people believe the fastest way to make someone regret losing them is to show them what they're missing. So they post carefully chosen photos. They try to look happier than they feel. They hope the other person notices. But here's the uncomfortable truth. If your growth depends on someone watching, it isn't growth, it's performance. The Stoics believe that true transformation happens in silence. No audience, no applause, no need to prove anything. Imagine an artist spending years creating a masterpiece behind closed doors. The world sees the finished painting, but it never witnesses the thousands of quiet hours that made it possible. Your life should be no different. Don't grow to impress them. Grow because your future deserves a better version of you. Read the books. Train your body. Strengthen your mind. Learn new skills. Keep the promises you make to yourself. Not because someone might return, but because you refuse to remain the person yesterday tried to define. One day, people may notice the change. They'll see your confidence, your discipline, your peace, and they may wonder what happened. But by then, their attention will no longer matter. Because you've built something far more valuable than admiration. You've built self-respect. And self-respect is something no one can take away. The most powerful statement you'll ever make isn't spoken with your mouth. It's written by the way you choose to live after disappointment. Life has an interesting way of surprising people. Sometimes, the person everyone underestimated becomes the one they admire years later. Not because they sought revenge, but because they refused to stop growing. Imagine meeting someone after several years. They expect to find the same insecure person they once knew. Instead, they meet someone calm, focused, confident, disciplined, not arrogant, not bitter, simply different. That transformation speaks louder than any explanation ever could. Seneca believed that adversity reveals character. Comfort hides it. Difficulty uncovers it. Every rejection, every disappointment, every goodbye can either become a prison or a turning point. The decision belongs to you. Ask yourself this. What if the greatest thing that ever happened to you was the very loss you once prayed would never happen? What if the person who walked away accidentally pushed you toward becoming the person you were always capable of being? Many people spend years trying to change someone else's mind. The wise spend those years changing themselves. And here's the irony. The moment you stop trying to be unforgettable, you often become exactly that. Because genuine confidence doesn't ask to be noticed. It naturally leaves an impression. There comes a moment in every person's life when they must choose between the past and their potential. One path leads backward, the other leads forward. You cannot walk both. Moving on doesn't mean pretending nothing happened. It doesn't mean you never loved or never cared. It means accepting that your future is too valuable to remain chained to yesterday. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that life is constantly changing. Nothing remains forever. Not success, not failure, not praise, not rejection. Everything passes. The people who suffer the longest are often those trying to hold on to what time has already carried away. But the Stoic chooses differently. He accepts reality. He learns. He grows. And then he keeps walking. Imagine a river. It never flows backward to reclaim the water it has already lost. It continues toward the ocean. Your life deserves the same direction. Every lesson you've learned, every scar you've earned, every difficult goodbye has prepared you for someone stronger than the person you used to be. Don't waste that transformation by looking over your shoulder. The greatest revenge isn't making someone regret losing you. It's reaching a place where you no longer need them to. Because real freedom begins the moment your happiness is no longer tied to someone who chose to leave. One day, they may remember you. They may wonder how your life changed so completely. They may realize what they failed to appreciate. Or perhaps, they never will. And that's perfectly okay. Because this journey was never about changing their mind. It was about changing your life. Marcus Aurelius understood that every person eventually faces a choice. Spend your energy chasing what is already left, or invest that same energy becoming who you were meant to be. Choose the second. Let your discipline become your answer. Let your peace become your victory. Let your character become your reputation. And let time reveal what words never could. Because the people who truly win in life are not those who make others regret leaving. They are the ones who become so fulfilled that they no longer need anyone's regret to feel complete. That is the highest form of freedom. If this message helped you see rejection from a different perspective, subscribe for more timeless Stoic wisdom inspired by Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. Every week, we explore practical lessons to help you build inner strength, emotional resilience, and lasting self-mastery. And remember, never chase what's chosen to leave. Become the person who never has to beg to be valued. Stay patient. Stay disciplined. Stay stoic.